An empty chair. An empty chair. It's a person. It's a person. It's a person. It's a friend. A child. A child. It's a colleague.
This chair is about a person like you and me. It might be a friend, it might be a stranger, it might be a brother or a sister, a father or mother, a mate from work or from uni or from school. But this chair represents a person loved by God. You know, more than 2 decades ago, people like you and me decided they needed more space so that others could come and hear and respond to the gospel. And so this church was born. New Life was born out of adventurous faith. It was always about those who were to come. So now we stand at a really important stage in our church's history. We can step back into the past, or we can step forward into the future that God has for us. It's not about us. It's not about our comfort, about our security. This is all about those who are to come. People who will sit in seats just like this.
Hi, we are Lou and
Betty Bourne.
and we are delighted with the excellent standard of preaching in this church and the constant supply of God surprises. It was my privilege to be the lead minister of the church for 2 brief periods over the last 13 years, so we've both had the chance to
Share the joys and also the
Louder.
tears. Now, you're not in charge here.
Sorry.
Well, we've shared the joys and we've also shared the tears over those 13 years.
Yes.
I'm Elizabeth Daines and I grew up in the New Life family and have been a part of it for most of my life.
We have been involved in New Life from day one. Sandra, when we first came here, the kids were babes in arms. They were 3 months old. I was asked to go on to church council back early on as treasurer and became an elder.
I'm Leslie Robertson and I lead the missions committee here at New Life. I've been involved in New Life for about 15 years. I love coming here. I worship here regularly. I belong to a small group, which is just part of my life.
Well, my name's Mark Spears. I've been coming to New Life for close on a year now. Involved in a couple of different things here, involved in the music team, and I'm also involved in leading all the young adult small groups and sort of mentoring the leaders and making sure they're all on track.
My name is Andrua Bruver. I'm from South Africa. We stay in Carrara, just around the corner from our church. And I'm a member of this church for over most of a year, but I'm a churchgoer here for 3 years.
What I love most about New Life is the come as you are mentality, that there's just room for everybody to come and bring whatever they've gone through and whatever they've experienced. There's place for them to come and to hand that over to God and to work through it with a bunch of people who are prepared to do the journey alongside you.
I think, to me, it's a wonderful blessing that there are so many people who accept me and love me and care for me.
Yeah.
I think the thing I love most is that sense of belonging, and with that sense of belonging comes that incredible feeling of reassurance you get knowing that there's always somebody here day or night that will pray for me.
We're all being blessed because you grow when you serve, and we believe we're being given an opportunity to grow.
It's a church that's about doing things and about getting involved. It's not just about talk, and it's not just about making ourselves feel better, but it's about making a difference in the world, of reaching people who don't know Jesus yet. And it's a church that's very serious about social justice and mission, and it's a church that's willing to try new things, take a risk, and push into areas that maybe we haven't tried before, and step off the known and beaten track to see what God might be doing.
When I walked in here, I could feel that God is working here.
You know, it's really a community, and it's got that sense of belonging. We came here originally because we wanted to find a kids ministry, and we've really found that here with Kids Life. It's just growing stronger and stronger whilst we've been here.
I'm excited that I get to be a part of the future plans of New Life, because I feel like someone was a part of it many years ago for me, that when this site was built, I was only a little girl, completely unaware of the sacrifice and the anxiety around what was going on, but someone gave for me, and someone still sacrificed and trusted God enough to go ahead and step out in faith. And as a result, I get to be here and doing the same 20 odd years later and sowing into what I don't yet see.
I'm amazed at how far we've come so far. I mean, I used to be able to name most of the people. Now I find it very difficult because there are so many new people, and that excites me to think that this church here in this place has done so much.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I can't wait for the new people that don't know the church to come and sit down, to have a coffee, to go through my books, to read the Bible. I can't wait for the mothers with the little toddlers and children playing on the new ground and facilities that the church is going to be bringing for them. I can't wait.
We're reaching out to people and building the kingdom. That's what excites me about this particular plan, because I think the plan itself will play a big part in doing all that.
For me, an empty chair symbolises the empty chair that was there for me many years ago, that someone gave so that there would be a space for me to come, and I did, and I came and I met Jesus, and I was able to grow and develop my leadership gifts and my relationship with him, and now I get the opportunity to do the same for someone else. And so to me, the empty chair symbolises the chairs that are already starting to be filled with our young people and our children who are growing in the knowledge of God and developing a love for Jesus of their own, and that I get to be a part of providing a chair for them to come and to meet God and to invite their friends and see what happened for me happen for them.
You know, I look at family, look at my sons that I've been praying for. I think about the workmates that I've been praying for. I think about the people that I play golf with.
An opportunity to have somebody else experience what I've been experiencing since my mid-20s. An opportunity to hear the word of God and to take that on board for themselves and to have a life-changing experience.
Well, the chair represents for me people we don't even know yet, people that perhaps we pass impersonally in the supermarket, parents who are praying and agonising about their kids that don't come to church.
I have this heart for overseas mission, but looking at that empty chair just reminds me that we have such a job to bring so many people in our local community to know Christ, to have that peace that comes from knowing Christ.
An empty chair to me is a missing soul. And I know for a fact that I'm going to stand in front of God one day, and he's going to ask me, what did you do about it?
And that empty chair it just represents so much possibility and so much potential for God to be changing lives. And every single chair is a space for an individual soul and someone who's created in the image of God and someone who God just values so dearly. And that each and every one of those chairs can be filled with people who God loves so much that he died for.
My hope for New Life is that we're going to grow and expand, so there'll be more opportunities for more people to have a loving relationship with our God, so that their lives can be transformed, that their home life will be transformed, the community life will be transformed, and even serving overseas, lives will be transformed through that personal relationship with God.
My hope is that we will continue to grow as we have. I mean, it's just amazing what's happened over the last few years.
My hope for the future is that we're going to continue to have many more God surprises, and that lives will be transformed and the whole community will be affected by what's happening here. And I have another wish, actually, that Robina can become a model and an inspiration, a challenge and a support for other churches in the Uniting Church throughout the nation.
My hope for New Life is that we'd continue to be a influence and an expanding force here on the Gold Coast that's really pushing back the forces of darkness and recognises that that's a very real result of what we're doing.
It's all testing, and you know, the leap of faith is pretty daunting to start off with. But you know, once you place your trust in God, I don't think that that we need to be concerned about it. It'll happen.
It will be a sacrifice. We'll have to sacrifice other things. So before we were prepared to do that, we asked ourselves a few questions, didn't we? And the first one was the basic one, of course.
Is our love of God higher than anything else?
And secondly, is our church in the will of God in these days? And the third one was important too, is the leadership of Stuart, the ministry team and the elders within God's will. We had to answer those. And then the fourth one is the practical one, right to the point. Do we believe that this capital expansion project campaign is God's will for our church at this time? And if we couldn't answer yes to all of those, then we weren't prepared to think about sacrificial giving. That was right, wasn't it?
That was it.
This is a big, audacious, even scary vision. I mean, the numbers are frightening. $4.5 million project cost. We believe we need to raise $3 million. And when we look at those things, we think, how can that happen? But we know with God, all things are possible. This is God's vision, but He wants us to be caught up in the joy of seeing it fulfilled. Every one of us who calls New Life home. And so I'm asking you to prayerfully consider, you and your family, how it is that you can give of your time, of your talents, and yes, of your money. We believe that we're going to see God do amazing things over these next few weeks. And we believe that God is calling you to be caught up in that and to experience the joy of seeing what He does. So please, will you prayerfully consider what it is that God is calling you to do and how it is that God is calling you to give. You know, on the 26th of June, when we wrap up this whole process, as we look back at what God has done, we'll be able to say with great joy and with celebration, only God could provide in this way for those who are to come.
What's good for us is good for us, but we want it to be for generation after generation after generation. And we can leave that legacy. And that's my hope for New Life.